Hi everyone, I welcome you to Strong and Lean, and this is our first live. We had a slight time change, and so many people weren't able to make it. And I am attached to this will be a poll. I really want this to be an interactive program. And so to make it an interactive program, I would love to have times of meeting together, times to have our lives together, times to go on walks together, and times to also enjoy yoga at Simply Yoga together, and any other thing. So feel free to invite, feel free to open up, feel free to suggest things that you think would support the goals of Strong and Lean, which is to improve our strength, to improve our recovery, and to become leaner. I wanted to spend some time to give you an overview of the program. The program is 4 or 6 weeks. The first week we are focused on the nutrition. I'm just getting into the habit of having the meals, feeding ourselves in this way, allowing our bodies to adjust. The second week we focus on exercise. Why is exercise important? Exercise is important because building muscle is a stress response. So in order for us to build muscle, we need to stress our muscles out. We need to give them the correct stimulus that tells them, hey, this is really hard for me and I need to be stronger. I need to build stronger. And so this is why our exercise is so vitally important. If you are eating all of this yummy nutrition, all of this yummy protein, all of these things, and you're not exercising your muscles, yes, it will have a metabolic effect and your metabolism will be ramped up. However, it will not have one of the key effects that we are really focused on, which is building muscle, building strength. And the third week will be focused on recovery. Recovery is something that I cannot stress enough how important it is. Recovery is something that I think about every single time we plan a meal program, to give you everything in your food to help your body's recovery process. What is recovery? Recovery is time to rebuild. It is time to clean up, and it's time to detox, and it is time to get rid of the invaders. Recovery, the older we get, the more times around the sun we go, the more essential recovery is. Recovery is the difference between a workout and waking up the next morning and being ready to go versus working out on Thursday, waking up on Friday, and not really being able to get out of the bed. That's what recovery is. Recovery is that I can wake up, I can go to my workout, I can take my kids somewhere, I could pick up my grandkids, I can go have lunch, I could do some gardening, I could do some light housekeeping, I could go for a long walk with the dog, and I still feel great, I'm not tired. That's recovery. The other key aspect of recovery is it prevents injuries. And the older we get, the less and less we want to get injured. When we are injured, it takes energy for the body to repair us. As we get older, recovery from injury takes longer and longer and requires more and more energy. Let's say you have 100 units of energy. If your body is spending 10 of those units repairing an injury, it has 10 less units to work with. And so recovery is here to ensure that we stay safe, that we build strong, and that we are able to have time to repair small tears so that they do not become a big event in our lives. So that's why we are doing recovery. And then the fourth week is going to be on longevity protocols. So what are the things that we can do to put strong and lean together to equal resiliency? And resiliency is so important because it is what helps us face the wear and tear of life, face challenges, face stressful times, without it negatively impacting our physical wellness. In my dream of dreams, I wish for each and every client to develop think of yourself as a very strong tree, and when the wind comes, the tree sways. It's resilient. It can take the wind, it can take the storm. But an old brittle tree that is undernourished and underfed and underrooted, the wind comes over and boom, it's done. I want you to have that kind of resiliency. And so we bring that together in week 4. For those of you that are doing a 6-week plan, you are in for a super duper treat, because in week 5, we are going to really dial into the fine tuning of wellness and really revving and perfecting our metabolism. And why is metabolism so vitally important? It is vitally important because it's what impacts your heart, and it is what impacts your skeletal and muscular system. So your heart, your metabolism involves not only your digestive tract, but it also involves your liver, and anything that involves the liver involves your cardiovascular system. And so this means it has to do with like the small vessels in your brain, how your brain is being nourished, cognition, focus, a thriving brain mass. As we get older, our brain mass gets smaller and smaller. And one of the things to help prevent this is keeping the brain well nourished, well serviced by your cardiovascular system. And so this is where metabolism is super important. So the 5th week is metabolic, and it is super duper important. And the 7th week builds on that, and we dive into inflammation. So throughout your program, you will have an anti-inflammatory diet that is essential for recovery. But learning to deal with inflammation, particularly when, say, we come off of a jet, or we had a fall, or it's ski season, or something of that sort, is super, super important. It is what is going to take you decade after decade after decade thriving and in vital condition. So that is the overview. So this is time for us to dig into week 1.